Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on the global version of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the next upcoming character event featuring Final Fantasy XIV's ALISAIE. And something about this video is it's going to be a little bit longer because as we dive into the video, you're going to see that ALISAIE has quite a lot for a character in terms of her ability kit. So it's going to be a little bit longer, but hey, that's cool because at least we get a character that does a lot as far as the way that her kit is designed. So let's go ahead and dive deeper into the overview and details for this upcoming event. So FF14 Scion ALISAIE joins the DFFOO cast as a red mage with a host of elemental abilities. She is affiliated with a red crystal, and she statistically excels in attack, initial brave, max brave, and speed, which is great for a damage dealer. Her 35 CP armor, red Blyod, I think that's how you pronounce that, will be available in the armor token shop, and 2 free copies will be given out upon completing her event. And don't forget, we also get a free copy of her 15 CP Mithrite Rapier. Terra and Papalimo will be joining her as synergy characters, and this time we are going to be facing the Magic Halo boss, who changes its elemental resistances with different veils. So that's going to be the gimmick for the boss, and we're going to get into that when we actually talk about the boss. So ALISAIE's abilities, here we go. So strap in, guys. This is going to be a long one. So her ability 1 is called Ver Arrow. It's a one-hit magic wind brave attack that changes into Ver Stone after she uses that. And ALISAIE's next turn after you use this ability comes faster. And her white mana gauge is going to be increased by 2 points with a max at 7. And the white mana grants her brave regen. So ALISAIE has 2 different gauges, white mana and black mana. Her Ver Stone, which comes from Ver Arrow, is a one-hit magic Earth Brave plus HP attack that changes back to Ver Arrow after you use it. It also grants her the unique buff called Dual Cast for 1 turn. And what Dual Cast does is it essentially gives you a 0 ability cost that next turn. So whatever ability you use, it's not going to cost anything, which is pretty amazing. And this time her white mana gauge is going to be getting an increase in its points by 3. Now her ability 2 is called Ver Thunder. This is going to be a one-hit Magic Thunder Brave attack, which changes into Ver Fire after usage. And then ALISAIE's next turn is going to come faster after you use this ability. This time this ability is going to be increasing her black mana gauge by 2 points. Again, caps out at 7, and black mana raises ALISAIE's attack. Now, Ver Fire is the ability that comes from Ver Thunder, which is a one-hit Magic Fire Brave plus HP attack that changes back to Ver Thunder after usage. It also, again, grants her the unique buff Dual Cast for 1 turn, which again gives you a free ability, and black mana gauge is increased by 3. Now, her HP attack also changes depending on the amount of black and white mana that you have. So if her black and white mana gauge is greater than 0, it's going to replace her HP attack command with something called Enchanted Repulse, which is a one-hit magic non-elemental brave plus HP attack that depletes her white and black mana gauge by 1. Now, if her white and black mana gauge is greater than 4, it's going to replace her HP attack command with something called Enchanted Redoublement, where after you use this ability, ALISAIE's next turn is going to come faster. It's also going to grant her a small max brave up for 6 turns, and it changes her Ver Arrow to Ver Holy and her Ver Thunder to Ver Flare, and it depletes her white and black mana gauge by 5 points. Now, Ver Holy is going to be requiring a level 55 passive to use it, and it's usable after Enchanted Redoublement. It's going to be a 4-hit magic non-elemental brave plus HP attack, and it changes back to Ver Stone after she uses this ability, and also grants her 4 points to her white mana gauge. Her Ver Flare will be available when she unlocks her level 60 passive. It's going to be usable after Enchanted Redoublement, and this is going to be a one-hit Magic Fire Brave plus HP attack that changes back to Ver Fire after usage, giving her 4 points of black mana gauge. And also something to note is that ALISAIE's standard Brave attack does increase both her white and black mana gauge by 1 point. Phew! That's a lot of abilities, but what this shows me is that because this character has so much to her kit, she's going to be a lot of fun to use. And we're going to dive deeper into what she can do and how she compares to the rest of the cast when I do my ALISAIE good or not good video. So stay tuned for that video, but we're going to go ahead and move forward and take a look at her crystal passives. So her crystal passives are as follows: Ver Arrow Power, increasing the brave damage dealt by Ver Arrow, Ver Stone, and Ver Holy. You're going to want that. She's going to be dealing more damage. Break speed up, increase in speed for 1 turn when you break an enemy. I think it's optional because she's already fast enough as it is. Buff boost, max brave up while buff. definitely want that because Max Brave is great for damage dealers, meaning they can deal more HP damage. Ver Thunder power, Brave damage increase dealt by Ver Thunder, Ver Fire, and Ver Flare. Again, you want her to deal more damage with her abilities. Break bonus up is another passive that I feel like is optional. Ver Arrow Charge, you definitely want that. You want that increase in usage by +1. Ability Speed High, this one is debatable. It reduces the action delay when you're continuously using her abilities. For a CP cost of 10, this could effectively turn her into a high frequency damage dealer. So this could be a great option to give her if you have the CP to spare. It's actually pretty good. Her Ver Thunder Charge, obviously you're gonna want that. It's gonna give her an additional usage for Ver Thunder. Acceleration, being her crystal passive level 50, is going to increase her Max Brave and attack for 3 turns after she uses either Ver Arrow or Ver Thunder, and that's pretty good, so you definitely want that. And then we have her Mighty Enchanted Redoublement, which increases the Brave damage dealt by Enchanted Redoublement with a CP cost of 5. You're going to definitely want that too. Her Ver Arrow extension is going to be further increasing the damage of Ver Arrow and Ver Stone. And when you use Enchanted Redoublement, this time her Ver Arrow and Ver Stone is going to change to Ver Holy. And then she has Buffed Attack Boost Up, which gives her a Max Brave and attack up with active buffs. And then Ver Thunder extension is going to be increasing the damage further by Ver Thunder and Ver Fire. And again, after you use Enchanted Redoublement, Ver Thunder or Ver Fire is going to change to Ver Flare with a CP cost of 15. So that's going to be a list of her passives. Overall, for her crystal passives, with only a few being, I feel like, not so good, it's actually a really good crystal passive kit, and it really does complement her abilities. So overall, very well done on her crystal passives. Now, taking a look at her artifact passive. So she has HP damage guard, 1-star, 2-star. This is one that you probably are going to pass on because she gets a defense up after she takes HP damage, and defense is one of the least prioritized stats in the game. Acceleration boost, 1-star, 2-star, amazing because it increases the effects of acceleration. Mighty Ver Arrow and Mighty Ver Thunder, I feel like are also going to be optional artifact passives, as I feel like her abilities already get enough boosts from her, not only her crystal passives, but if you happen to pull on her weapons, that's going to further increase the damage by that. So I feel like those two artifact passives are also optional as well. And the priority ones that you want to go for is attack plus 108, Max Brave plus 330, and acceleration boost as far as her artifact passives go. Now, the weapon summon banner is going to have 3 new weapons, with one that's been highly anticipated. A lot of folks have been waiting for it. But let's go ahead and go over ALISAIE's first. So her 15 CP Mithrite Rapier is going to be increasing the Brave damage for Ver Arrow, Ver Stone, Ver Holy, and Enchanted Repulse. And it's also going to be increasing the amount of white mana points that you get when you're using Ver Arrow and Ver Stone by 1. So that's pretty good. Her 35 CP Shire Rapier is going to be giving a Brave damage increase to Ver Thunder, Ver Fire, Ver Flare, and Enchanted Redoublement. And this time you're going to get an additional point for the black mana gauge whenever you use Ver Thunder or Ver Fire. And what I like about both of her weapons is that because her kit is already complex, they kept it straightforward with what she gets from her weapons, which is good, because it looks like they didn't want to make it they didn't want to make her overly complex. So I like that it's very straightforward with the passives for those 2 weapons. Now, the anticipated weapon for this banner is obviously going to be Terra's EX weapon, which is going to be Organics. This is going to equip Terra with her EX ability Riot Blade, which is a 3-hit magic non-elemental Brave plus HP attack, with the Brave damage increasing as Terra's HP gets lower. And the repeated weapons are going to be 15 and 35 CP for Terra and 15 and 35 CP for Papalymo. Overall, should you pull on this banner? Now, if you are a huge fan of any one of these characters, and I know there's a lot of Terra fans out there, then by all means, go ahead and pull to your heart's content. I did make a video, though, called EX Factor of Part 2, which does cover my thoughts about Terra's EX and whether or not she absolutely needs it. So I'm going to leave the link to that video in the video description as the pinned comment, so then that way you guys get a little more insight on whether or not Terra does need her EX or not. As far as ALISAIE's weapons, it really does help her kit out a lot, and if you decide to build her up, I do highly recommend you try to pull for her weapons. But here's the problem that I see with this banner. This banner is very close to another highly anticipated banner, which is the Selfie banner. And Selfie is a character that a lot of folks know is going to be very good for the future content that we're going to be getting. She's amazing support, and her banner also has another EX weapon for a character that we've been waiting for. So it's a toss-up, really, if you want to pull on this banner or not. My thoughts are, if you're free to play, or if you are not spending too much on the game, I would probably lean more towards waiting for the selfie banner before going ham on this banner. But again, if any one of these characters are your favorites, then by all means go ahead and pull. Now the boss again for this is going to be the Magic Halo boss, which I mentioned earlier. This boss is actually a ghost type with a chase HP value of 40. It does resist melee and range attacks, so don't bring your melee and range attack damage dealers. Stick to magic users. It changes its elemental weaknesses and resistances with Black Veil and White Veil. It uses various brave magic attacks, with the most noteworthy ones being Stone and Stone Arrow. So if you guys remember those Sand Krakens for the Thancred event, it has Stone Arrow, which is really annoying because it delays the target by 2 turns, and if it breaks the target, it delays them even more. And then Black Veil is gonna resist Fire, Ice, Thunder, and Dark. However, it's gonna make it vulnerable to Earth, Wind, Water, and Holy. And then White Veil resists Earth, Wind, Water, and Holy, but it's gonna make it vulnerable to Fire, Ice, Thunder, and Dark. Now, if you don't feel like you're confident in paying attention to the veils, especially with taking elementals, characters with a lot of different elements, definitely Terra's probably going to be the all-star. No, she is going to be the all-star because not only is she synergy, but her abilities do not have an element attached to them, which is amazing. So then that way she bypasses all of these resistances and weaknesses because she's just going to be dealing constant amount of damage. And especially if you already have her built up, which I know most of you do, she's going to definitely be the MVP for this boss fight. Now, some final tips to prepare is obviously you want to farm up those red crystals if you decide to use ALISAIE. That way you have as many passives unlocked for her. And again, avoid using physical, melee, and range damage dealers. And you can opt to use Shantoto if you have her EX, and Vaughn as well, because they are magic damage dealers. And Shantoto with her EX is a match made in heaven for ALISAIE due to the quadruple imperil that Shantoto possesses with her EX. And ALISAIE wields a lot of elements, so it really complements her kit if you decide to use Shantoto, provided that you have her EX. And the summon of choice with this can be tricky. It really depends on your playstyle, but to be on the safe side, you could utilize Bahamut, who we recently just got his event. And because he powers up non-elemental brave attacks, this is going to make a character like Terra hit this boss even harder. And for co-op, I would definitely stick to Chocobo, unless maybe one person in the co-op could use Sylph. That way, if you guys get into a sticky situation where you take too much HP damage, at least Sylph can sustain or bring back that character's HP or bring back the party's HP. Alright guys, so we are going to take a look at some gameplay from my JP account. It's going to be a showcase and a visual to get you guys hyped up for the upcoming ALISAIE event on Global. So let's go ahead and move on to that. Alrighty guys, so here we are with a gameplay showcase of the upcoming ALISAIE character event for the global version of Opera Omnia. Now, ALISAIE and JP already got her rework, and she also got her EX, and she got her level 70. So this version of ALISAIE is obviously going to be a lot more effective and powerful compared to the one that we're going to be getting in Global. But again, remember, this is just a visual showcase just to show you guys for what's to come for the event. Now, I chose to do the level 80 difficulty only because the EX stages that we've been seeing so far are still around the level 80 difficulty on Global. So this is the reason why I chose that. So I'm actually going to take ALISAIE by herself because she is level 70, and I'll probably showcase to you guys the EX ability that she does have, but she is a lot more powerful now. And we're going to take Quistis as our friend, and we're going to take Ifrit for our summon. So let's go ahead and tackle this. And remember, the boss for this event is going to be the Magic Halo. Alrighty, so we're going to take out B here. So let's take a look at her ability 1, which is her Ver Arrow. And the ability 1 versions of her abilities now are actually Brave plus HP attacks. So that's also something to know for something that she gets. Alright. And she also builds her mana a little bit faster now compared to what she was before at level 60. So let's go ahead and use her Verfire. And then we're going to go ahead and use Enchanted Riposte now that we have her white mana and her black mana up. And let's go ahead and go back to using her ability. So this is going to be Ver Holy, because we know that Enchanted Redoublement does change both of her abilities as long as you have her level 55 and 60 passive, which is pretty cool that it does that. Alright, so we're going to go back to using Ver Thunder. and go back to using Enchanted Redoublement. So essentially, without going into too much detail about it, because I do want to give you guys my good or not good video with a little bit of a deeper analysis, you generally don't want to use Enchanted Riposte, which is what her HP attack changes to, factoring in that your white mana and black mana is greater than 0. Because that ability doesn't really add much. You would generally want to build up your mana and go right into Enchanted Redoublement, because it gives you access to Verholy and Verflare. So this is going to be the boss. There's a Magic Halo. Now, we're probably not going to be seeing the little griffin that is accompanying it, because this is the Lost Chapters level 80. But remember, this is just to give you guys kind of a showcase of what to hopefully expect. And we're gonna get to see the boss use its ability where it uses its Veil. Alright, so there it is. It's gonna go ahead and use a Veil. So there is the Veil that it used. So as you could see, it has resistances to 4 different elements, but it also makes itself vulnerable to 4 other ones. So when it uses its other Veil, it actually switches that up. So that is essentially one of the things you want to watch out for. And remember, the Magic Halo boss, when it uses its white Veil, does have access to the ability Stone Arrow. So that's one thing you want to be careful of. Alright, because we are actually at a dangerously low HP, because we ate some big HP damage in wave 1, we're going to go ahead and just summon Ifrit right here. Alright, and let's take a look at her EX. So this is something ALISAIE later gets in the future. Alright, let's go ahead and use her Fire. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and use Enchanted Redoublement. So again, that is the one that you want to build up to, Enchanted Redoublement, because it gives you access immediately. It gives you faster access, to Verholy and Verflare. Okay, and that was Verflare right there. So it has some pretty cool animations on all of her abilities. Alright, let's go ahead and Enchanted Riposte. Or Enchanted Redoublement, I mean. There we go. Verholy. Verfire. Go ahead and go back to her EX. And as you can see, ALISAIE, like I said in the discussion for this, can be a high-frequency damage dealer because her abilities, when you use version 2 of her abilities, which is Verstone or Verfire, remember, it actually it speeds up her turn, which is really, really cool. And there we go. So that is going to be the gameplay showcase for the upcoming ALISAIE event. Again, remember, it's a visual showcase. By no means a strategy on how to beat the EX, because we don't know what we're going to be seeing. It's probably going to be a little bit different compared to what you saw there. But hopefully this hypes you guys up for the upcoming ALISAIE event. And remember, we are going to be seeing Terra's EX in that event, which is going to be good that we get to have a chance to pull for that weapon. Alright guys, well this is 40 the Broadway saying thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.